I'm very, very thrilled to have on the line a wonderful group of people that have come up with the dream solution to flying from Maui anywhere. David Young, Chris Early, and Darren Greer are here on the line right now, and they're with Roam Maui. And I had a chance to experience the beauty of this lovely airliner when there was a special event that happened with the Maui Humane Society, and it was fantastic. This aircraft is a 737-700 with 44 seats available for members, with complete interior refurbishment. The seats are gorgeous. They're leather seating with footrests, and you have so much space, more than a lot of first-class airlines I've been on, more space than that. There's a brand new galley with all the new equipment, extra large lavatories, overhead bins. There's the I love the fact that you guys have cabin ionization systems that is state of the art. There's only 1 of 5 jetliners in the world that have this surface purification. So there's more we're going to go into, but I just wanted to talk about those factors alone and welcome you. First of all, let's just mention this is an amazing idea that's a membership opportunity that gives you the solution to every problem you've ever encountered in flying, pretty much. So how did you get bringing in that service to Maui, and how did you get this beautiful airliner with all of these wonderful services available to Maui?
Cindy, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. I know how busy you all are.
Yeah, it's a little busy, but we're grateful for busy. So, yeah, it's a really wonderful origin story. I've been working in private aviation for 18 years. Oh. And over the years, I've had clients, one in particular that I had provided private aviation services for over 13 years for. And he is a gentleman that has a beautiful home up in Kapalua, and essentially he was flying back and forth about 8 or 9 times a year. Mm-hmm. On a chartered airliner or a G4 or a Gulfstream 4, which is a large cabin jet. And essentially, with that frequency of travel, it got pretty, even at that level of wealth, pretty onerous as far as the bills. Mm-hmm. So essentially paying about $1.5 million to be flying back and forth to your second home.
Yeah.
So one day we kind of had a chat and said, what do you think of this concept of getting a 737 and kind of bringing the benefits, also the size of a commercial airline, but merging with it private aviation style travel? So meaning going from a private airport or a fixed base operator, that's actually where we met you, Cindy, at Air Services Hawaii.
Right.
And taking the benefits of kind of both. So a hybrid model where folks can pay an annual membership, which is kind of unique, and then flying the airplane as needed. But in this scenario, it's actually economical relatively. But again, this was really a genesis of taking care of customers. And, that's really what we're concerned about. We're concerned about, and was really happy to hear your view of the airplane. We want to take care of people. It's a luxury product. And again, we want to just bring in a hybrid type situation where essentially it's above first class.
Yeah.
So our clients are, really extending up to our services from first class and then coming down from private aviation. So we find there's some great demand in that space.
Yeah.
And that people really enjoy the product, so they're able to have a community of people that are like-minded, that it's luxurious, like you said, a little above first class, and then, not get hit with a bill as much as private aviation. So, it really was a genesis from our customers, what we saw in the environment, and it's been a lot of work, but a pleasure to see people really enjoy the product.
I think that people are probably loving it because, as you and I know, when COVID hit, I refused to fly the economy class anymore. Even economy plus was too crowded. They put too many seats together. So, I'd fly first class. But then what's happened is a lot of these airplanes no longer even have first class. That they've done is just diluted no first class and just put in business class. I think there's some European airlines that still do the first class, but you still have to wait in line, and you still have to go through the busy airports and go through that long waiting line, and you still have to if you're flying on those commercial airlines, you still can have major cancellations and delays. And I think with what you have, I was just telling David before you called in that I hate the times that the commercial airlines are flying from Maui to Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle. They're not having convenient times for us either. You have perfect times, and you don't have to do those long, long lines. When you're in that other section, you still go through TSA, but it's not that long lines that go for a half an hour. Even with TSA, I have the TSA pre-check-in. It's still a long line. So I think that is like one of the major pluses. Are you finding that people are loving that?
Oh, Cindy, this is Darren. I'll chime in on this one. Mm-hmm. So you're not a vampire? You're saying you don't like to fly between midnight and 6 a.m.?
I can't sleep. I can't sleep in a plane overnight, so I get there and I'm so tired.
We get that a lot. I mean, and we're always striving to improve our schedule. We'd love to fly, and we're actually steering that direction starting this spring. All our flights are going to be during the daylight hours. So yeah, we do value time, because that's, everybody, there's only a finite amount of time. So if we can cut an average, we think we're cutting about 2 hours at least just in the travel time, not to mention all the things you talk about, TSA and the hassles and the intrusions that come along with going through a public terminal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we bypass all that.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a beautiful little space over there, and it's just lovely because you can just go over there, go on, and it's like a friendship. It's almost like you created an atmosphere on these lovely planes that are almost like having a party in the air. You're having friends in the air. You have a fabulous 5-star chef that will create for you. You have even some tables, that are nice. We're not talking a foot long here, but actual tables you can sit at where people can sit across from each other and have meetings and catch up on everything while they're flying. Are you finding that business people are enjoying having meetings in the air?
Yes. Hey, Sydney, it's Chris again. One really great joy out of this that I don't think we understood when we began, it's really a community in the sky. It's been really a blessing to find out about the people on Maui in particular, and we found it's a really diverse community from Kapalua down to McKenna and in between. And what we're finding is our clients are, number one, really good business people, and number two, getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. So it's become a community, you mentioned it a little bit, and it was nice to hear, where people are having fun on the airplane. And in particular, people are connecting. And business is all about connection. So, yeah, one great benefit of this business is we're seeing people connect in a new community, and the community happens to be in the sky. So I think that translates to, people are actually having fun flying, and I'm not sure that's happened in a long time.
I used to love, I had a private pilot's license, and I really am one of those people that love flying, and I have to say that has been ruined. I have gotten to the point where I dread it like most people now dread flying. And it just is sad because I actually, I even wrote a book about this, how to fly with less stress, but it's become so tedious, that to be able to do this, and I love the fact that you can go with groups. You have, if you're flying and you're a member, you can bring up to, is it like 7 other people with you on a plane with your membership? Okay.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, this is David. Yes, that is the case. We have two ways we kind of look at the guests for our members. Of course, you have to be tied to a member. Right?
Yeah.
You cannot buy a seat. This is a membership. But members can bring up to 7 people with them, or total, right? So it could be friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
We also have an unaccompanied guest program. So depending on your tier of membership, you buy into a different tier of membership, and it can allow you X number of unaccompanied guest passes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another benefit. Say you're on island, and you want to bring someone in for a round of golf or a weekend at your place. You can bring them in without having to be on that aircraft.
Wow.
And this is from really initial research that we did with our interested parties that ultimately invested, which, by the way, are all Maui homeowners. That was the feedback we got from them. They said, well, what about, if you're already on island, I don't have to go back to Los Angeles to pick up my grandkids. So that's been a really popular part of our program as well.
Mm-hmm. At this point, you're leaving the West Coast at around 9 o'clock, and then you get in Maui 5 hours later. Then it looks like you leave Maui around 2 p.m. Is that a set time, or is that changing as we go?
That's changing. Darren could probably speak to that.
Yeah, I'll jump in again. So beginning in March, all 4 cities, Seattle, it's Bowen Field, San Jose, and LAX and Maui, are going to have 11 a.m. departures.
Oh, I like that.
So we're going to, those will be daylight flights,
yes.
Correct? Because it takes about 5 hours to fly across the ocean to the mainland and to Maui. Starting in March, it'll be all 11 a.m. departures, but in between now and the end of February, it's 9 a.m. departures. But still, we like to use the phrase gentleman hours. Mm-hmm. We don't like the midnight flights. Yeah. We don't like the 5 a.m. flight. Because our members, it's not us, it's our members.
Yeah.
And we provide the service that they're asking for.
And I believe if you're a member and everything and you do live here, and you could just go and park and leave your car there if you know you're going to come back. I don't know how that works with leaving your car. Does it? Because I'll tell you something. It's a nightmare in the parking lot at OGG right now.
We have partners in that aspect, Cindy. It's not just us. We're not. We have partners that help our members facilitate those. Whether it's their car or if it's a drop-off service, or their, maybe their friends or family are dropping them off. There's multiple options for that, but you're exactly right. That's part of the appeal of Roam Maui is we want to simplify everything. From the time, Chris likes the phrase, the vacation starts when you get to the jet. We want the stress to be gone when you show up at the airport. We don't want the stress to begin there, or we want it to be gone by the time you get to the airport.
Yeah. We want the journey to be as enjoyable as the destination.
I think it's also very memorable. How does it work with the food? Because I think that's wonderful. Because I have to say, the food on airlines is even in business class and some first class is a lot, needs a lot to be desired. So tell me about how you have your chef and what you do with the food.
Sure. I'll take this again. We got really lucky. My background, this is David, is in music, and I made a few connections early on that were clients of mine, well-to-do in their space, and said, hey, I'm putting this Maui project together. Who do you know? And the response I got from a good friend of mine was, well, you got to know a guy named Coop. And Coop's a great person on island. Introduced me to a guy named Shep.
Oh, Shep Gordon.
Yeah. Shep's been instrumental in helping us out in so many ways. Just been, like his reputation precedes him, just a generous mensch. Mm-hmm. And he connected us with, obviously he is the reason celebrity chefs exist. So he had a bunch of people in mind, and the first person he approached was Charlie Palmer, and we just clicked. Charlie got the idea. So we were really a spreadsheet and a dream when we started to work with Charlie. So it's been a magical kind of connection, and Charlie's brand has been an extension of our brand, and or vice versa. And so, yeah, he works with the local kitchens, designs the menus quarterly, seasonally, really. Has really thoughtful creations, and it's just basically Charlie creates the menus, cooks them in his own kitchens, makes sure that they're worthy, and it obviously flies on our aircraft as well, and then works the local kitchens to turn meals around for consistency.
Which I love. And you also serve drinks, don't you?
Sure do.
Nice. Well, if people are just tuning in, I'm talking to the founding partners of Rome, the newest way to fly with better than first class. It's a membership group. I'm talking to Chris Early, lead strategist and head of product, and David Young, creative and commercial director, and Darren Greer, head of operations and vendor relations. Just in case people have to get somewhere when they're listening, maybe we should just give a telephone number and a contact website or some way before we continue. What's the best way to reach you on this?
Oh, Cindy, it's 1-800-563-ROAM.
I like that. It's easy.
and the best URL email is roam-maui.com.
Wonderful. Let's repeat the number one more time in case they're driving or something. And, yeah, what's the number again?
It's 1-800-563 7626.
Now, I was just going to ask you about this. The idea, I like this idea of the concierge service. I don't know anyone. I mean, I know I have American Express Platinum and they're nice and everything, but this is different. Explain how you put that concierge service together with Rome.
Yeah. Hey, it's Chris. I'll take that one. So this is also one of those things that kind of bleeds over from private flight. We, from the very beginning, knew that having a concierge involved with this program is essential. And that's because, you can build the best technology, which we're in process of doing. You can have the best product, the airplane, as you're mentioning, but really you have to have that personal touch. When you have a luxury product, and in particular with a lot of moving parts, as an airplane has, you really want a personal touch. So we thought from the very beginning, we feel it's a very strong part of the program to have a concierge. At first, when we started flying, we had a concierge on board each flight, and we no longer do that. But what we do have is a concierge that you can reach out to anytime. So, we have technology to use it, but really the personal touch of having someone to speak to, of having someone that actually, of having someone, and her name is Malia, or concierge, that all our members know and enjoy. And she knows our members, the name of their dogs, which is another thing we should probably discuss.
Yeah.
And the name of the family, their kids. And just to reiterate, a huge part of our program is our vertical membership. Mm-hmm. We call it our Ohana membership, which means that your immediate family, up and down the family tree, are also have access to your membership. So it's not just for a couple, it is for the whole family to be able to fly.
That could be a very nice Christmas gift.
That's what we're thinking.
I mean, really, that could be I would
you
love
like to
that.
join our sales team?
I would like to be. I'd like to be a member, actually. Yeah.
Anyone want a gift, Cindy?
I'd love it. But I have to say, also, you mentioned the family, and we know Ohana is huge here, in Hawaii. But it's also the business idea, because there are some wonderful businesses that could take advantage of the same thing. And I have to say, in Hawaii and Maui in particular, businesses are kind of like a family,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So in that case, then would the owner of the business or someone in the business be the person, and then you'd have a list of the business partners and members that could then be part of that deal?
Well, it really does need to be tied to a Maui homeowner. So everything, the genesis is with the home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that we're certainly would be willing to explore, but haven't really explored yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would be interesting. But if you are
interested, they could certainly call us up and we could talk about it.
And if you are a member with a family, you could certainly still have guests that you could have.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pick so that would be the way you could do it then. You have your guests who are your partners or friends and do it that way. You mentioned, and I want to go over the locations and how this works. You go here to either Los Angeles, San Jose, or Seattle. Now, you get here, and when you go to Los Angeles, obviously you don't go to the main terminal. You go to a special, a private jet terminal. Is that correct?
Yes. We use what are called fixed base operators,
Mm-hmm.
which are also the airports that private aviation uses and utilizes.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, like Air Services Hawaii, they are jump-off points for people utilizing their own aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a different experience than going up to a commercial terminal. There is no TSA line. There typically is no large parking lot. It's more of a service that you can pull in, park your car, go through with a breeze and get on the airplane. So we really feel it's a strong part of our program. It does save people time, energy. I think personally it saves people a lot of stress. For instance, I have flown on Maui a couple times over to Maui and then flown commercial back.
Mm-hmm.
And in my personal experience, it feels like an 8-hour day
Yes.
flying commercial. And
Yeah.
if you take a good nap, about 3-hour day on Maui.
No, it is. You basically have to write the day off when you're flying commercial. There's no doubt about that. I do want to talk about a great idea. I'm friends with our friends over there at the Maui Humane Society. I love animals. And I know many people, I really do know many people who say, gosh, I'd like to take a trip, but I can't leave my pet behind. I don't have anyone that I trust my pet with. I love the idea that you can take your pet on Rome with you, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yep. It's been a huge part of our program. We do limit the number of pets that can be on the airplane just to be conscientious of everyone who's flying.
Mm-hmm.
But indeed, you can bring your pet. They don't have to be in a kennel, so they can be on the aircraft. They're not cooped up. And it's been a huge part of our program. Again, we partner with the Maui Humane Society, which we love, and we're really trying hard to get involved with the community more
Mm-hmm.
and be a part of Maui and a part of the Maui community. But yeah, I mean, it is absolutely amazing what people will do for their pets. And
Yes.
they're parts of the family. And again, with the concept of Maui, it really is family-oriented, and pets are part of the family. So they are welcome.
I love that idea, and it does make a huge difference. Absolutely. What do you do about entertainment? What do you do with Wi-Fi and entertainment on the jet?
I'll jump back in on this one. So we do have oceanic internet service provided, satellite-based, across the ocean. 5 hours across the ocean to have internet, that's a pretty big deal. There's a lot of technology, and I guess they're not moving parts, but there's a lot of technology involved in that. It's not perfect, but it's a great service that we can provide. You can get on there and make, we've all gotten on there and either made and received video calls or, of course, check an email. It's not something where, you're necessarily going to download a Disney movie real time, but you can for sure do, most of the things you could do from your home-based Wi-Fi. And then also in a completely separate system, Wi-Fi based, there is onboard entertainment, in-flight entertainment. with, movies and TV shows and, that type of thing, games. You can play chess or solitaire and those kinds of things on iPads that we provide. So, you come on. Obviously, most people today have their own devices. But if you want to use one of our iPads, and that's what it is, our flight attendants will, get you an iPad, and you can get on and use our in-flight entertainment as well.
I love it. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to all of you, and I love your ideas. I love how you're doing it, and it really does change the way people can fly from Maui to Los Angeles and San Jose and Seattle, and I applaud you. And again, let's give the number for people to reach out to you.
1-800-563-7626.
And the website?
Rome-Maui. That's ROAM-Maui.com.
Okay. I am so happy to have talked to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time you're on Maui. You'll have to stop by, and we'll get to meet, and I'm looking forward to flying on Rome soon someday. It'd be a dream come true for me, I'll tell you. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk today.
Thank you, Cindy.
Aloha.